Okay, sick, and we're rolling. Well, I mean, another episode. I haven't done one of these in a while. I don't know why I do these so intermittently because they're really fun to do normally when I do them, especially when I have first-time interviewees on. Yeah, I mean, if you want to introduce yourself and like what you play, what bands you play in, like, I think that'd be sick for the people to know.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Jose. I play bass in Extinguish, Field of Flames, and No Right.
Sick.
And I've been playing bass for Extinguish since pretty much the beginning.
Okay, cool.
And same with Field of Flames. I joined No Right the most recently.
Oh, okay,
But yeah, I play bass in all three.
Okay, gotcha.
And then,
We'll get in the timeline of like when you got into those bands and like how you met up with those people originally, because I think all that shit's like really interesting. But I think like if you want to start out just by like giving some like background on yourself and like where you're from, like what got you into like music and stuff like that, like I think that'd be. I always like getting like a little bit of backstory on like people that I have on this show.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm actually I was born and raised in a town called Vacaville, which it's like a meme to say this.
Cowtown?
Cowtown, yeah, Cowtown. It's like right in the middle of Sacramento and San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, it's not quite Bay, it's not quite Sac, it's kind of its own little thing.
So is it up by like Santa Rosa, like
no
area, or is it like more like east?
It's more east. But yeah, born and raised there. It's pretty unremarkable town, like just suburban town, kind of pretty boring. Like,
okay, gotcha.
I'm not sure that there was too much going on music wise. Like I know there's bands that have come out from there, and I'm sure there was a music scene at some point, but not while I was like around or that I was aware of. But in terms of how I got into what was the question? How I got into music?
Well, I mean, that was kind of the question, was like where'd you grow up and stuff like that. But I guess like a good kind of segue into the next topic is what you were saying. But like, I guess what were you doing before like music and stuff like that? Like, what were you into as like a wee lad growing up in Cowtown?
Dude, as a wee lad.
Or was it like always music, I guess?
Music came a little later, but as a wee lad, I think I just spent a lot of time playing like video games and stuff.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you kind of look like someone who would like you got like the body build of like someone to play like soccer or something like that.
Dude, I wish. I like did wrestling in middle school for like 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then I got my shit owned.
Oh, really?
And I decided like, yo, I'm hella not down with this anymore.
Dang, my head got slammed against the canvas. That kind of hurt.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this is kind of whack actually. Like this sucks.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I stuck with it, but no, but I never played sports or anything like that. I definitely was like just like playing video games and like spent a lot of time at home.
Okay, gotcha.
I was definitely like I was like a shy kid, like always. Like I didn't make friends. I didn't make like my first group of friends until pretty later on. So a lot of stuff that I would do would just be like things you could do solitarily or like alone, like video games, and like I'd like watch like movies and cartoons and stuff.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But yeah, that's mostly what I did as a kid, just kind of like video games and stuff like that. Nothing too like. I tried picking up skating, and similar to wrestling, I think I got hurt doing something.
Yeah.
I think I tried to like do a kickflip or something. Like I tried doing a trick I had no business doing with my skill set.
Like dropping in or something like that.
Yeah, like I think I tried like, you know what? I remember this very specifically. So I was trying to impress my homie Robert because he was like a skater guy. He lived in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I watched him do like a running start with his board. I don't know. And I was like, yo, that looks hella easy. So I tried doing that and like immediately like slammed on my face. Yeah. And then I was kind of like bummed on skating after that.
Yeah. I feel like if you get like there's those moments in skating for sure where like early on you kind of eat shit. I remember I got like, I was really close to ollieing one time, and I mean I still skate, but this was one of those make or break moments I think for me too, where it's like I tried to do an ollie one time and I was like kind of getting confident at it. Yeah. And then one time I sent one really high and I had it off the ground. I was like, yeah, this is sick. And then I hit the ground and my board just flew out and I got the worst hipper like of all time, slammed on my side. Yeah. But just like, I think it's funny that
you know what that is? Is that's character building. That's character development.
I mean, I guess it's true. Yeah. Allows you to stick with it, but
I would try to like ollie on like the grass and shit. But yeah,
that was me too. That was me for a long time after that. Like I was close to that ollie that one time, and then it took me 6 months to get my courage back up again to do it on concrete again.
Yeah, but yeah, no. So yeah, I hurt myself doing that, and then it was back to video games.
Okay, nice. So yeah. So like when you're growing up, were your parents like really like musically inclined at all, or was there like a lot of music being played like where you were at, or what's kind of like, I guess like what's kind of the catalyst of your like interest in music? Was it your parents, or was it just like homies that you had that would like older cousins, I guess, or older friends like that would put you on to stuff? Like what was like kind of the catalyst for you getting into music like in general, I would say, and like finding stuff on your own, you know what I mean? So
my mom definitely listened to a lot of music.
Okay.
Or like in the house, like the whole meme of like the Mexican mom waking up early on Saturday playing like blaring music.
Yeah, totally.
And me being bummed because I knew I had to like work. Yeah. But my mom was definitely like the music head in the house. Like I found out about a lot of like she put me on to stuff.
Oh, that's dope.
Just from stuff she not necessarily like. She never listened to any sort of aggressive music per se. Yeah. But she would definitely play stuff like Marc Antonio Solis.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You know, Los Bukis, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So my mom was definitely like very musically inclined. My dad, I love him, no diss, but I don't know that he liked anything.
Like, just had no interests.
He just worked and just kind of like was stoked on stocks and shit.
Okay, nice. Is he an immigrant?
Yeah, both of my parents. Yeah, so both of my parents immigrated.
Immigrant mentality.
Yeah, no, straight up, like just grinding, like. But you know, he was just working hard. Like I don't blame him. He was just
for sure.
He was just working hard to like put food on the table.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? But I think my dad. I caught him listening to like Hotel California once in his car. He was hella stoked on that song.
I mean, dude, it's like cool shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like as a child, he's like singing along and shit in like broken English. Like, so I guess, you know, he put me on to the Eagles. Yeah, but definitely, it was definitely, so yeah, my first exposure to music was my mom for sure. She loved, like still does listen to music like all the time. Like she listens to essentially the same shit.
Nice,
like,
as before.
She has like her All Reliable, like mixtape,
same
on a CD. You know,
yeah, that's like my mom as well, is like 80s like new wave music. Like that's like her stuff. She's always like the fallback on like the All Reliable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But well, that's pretty dope. And then so you go from like, I guess you're listening to all this stuff and you're like playing video games or whatever. I don't know if these are synced up at all, but like, you know, you're playing video games and stuff, but like, how did you start like, I don't know, finding music and being like, oh, this is cool. Maybe I want to like play an instrument or something like that.
Yeah. So, you mentioned earlier, like, is it like cousins or friends that got me into it? So I had like any sort of aggressive music that I was listening to, I pretty much discovered on my own. Because for the most part, my family was pretty like normal. Yeah. Like all my cousins just listened to what you were expected to listen to at the time. Like no
pop music.
Yeah, like nothing counterculture at all.
Yeah.
Like
hip hop or something like that.
I have one cousin that was like pretty like alternative, but she never was like, you know, she didn't like punk or anything like that. Yeah. But so I think it definitely started with video games, specifically Tony Hawk. Yeah, which I feel like everyone says that, but it's true.
Yeah,
like for me specifically, it was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. Because my dad got me that for GameCube for like my birthday one year.
Nice.
And I discovered so much shit through that game. Like, I found out about Gangstar because of that game. Like, just, I think I would start the college level over and over just to hear that song. Because it would shuffle, so it wouldn't play the same song every time. But I would like restart the level.
Get it. Like, was it gonna hit this song?
Yeah. Just to hear Mass Appeal by Gangstar, and then just like the punk songs that were on it, and like. Yeah, totally. I didn't know names of bands or anything, but I just knew like yo, this is pretty like sick. Yeah. Like, and it wasn't a Tony Hawk game, but I remember hearing Them Bones by Alice in Chains on like, it might have been like a ATV game or something, but that was the first time, like I didn't even know what a riff was. I didn't know there was a name for it. I just remember hearing that song. That's a riff right there. Like immediately, like the hardest, like just such a crazy ass riff, like to me as a kid. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And like, I was like, yo, as a little child, I was like, yo, whatever that is, I only want to listen to that for the rest of my life.
Yeah, dude.
But
that's dope. I mean, it's kind of crazy how, like how much alternative music was actually like on those video games for how mainstream that they were.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I think like 25 to Life was on like one of those games and stuff like that, and like just like crazy like deep cut stuff that like you wouldn't expect in like a fucking, was it Activision to put them out, like an Activision title. Yeah. But that's dope, man. I mean, so then you're hearing all this alternative music. Is that like sparking your interest in like wanting to actually play an instrument, or like would it be some time yet before you actually like were like, all right, this is kind of cool. I want to see if I can riff myself. So
the instrument came pretty goddamn late. Like that came very late.
How late?
So it was actually when Extinguish started. I didn't attempt to play an instrument until that band started. And like I played clarinet
like 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
So this something like it was I want to say Extinguish started in 2016. Like late 2016.
Oh, okay.
And
it's like 7 years ago.
I had played clarinet in like elementary school, but I'm not counting that. Like I played it for one semester and then like immediately was like, yeah, I'm hella good off of this. But the instrument stuff didn't come until I was like 18. So I definitely started late, and I never like, it's not that I didn't have an interest in it. I just didn't think I would ever. It just seemed very difficult. Like even a bass guitar, like it's totally. Just 4 strings as opposed to the 6 on guitar.
I mean, it is kind of difficult though. Like
it is, yeah.
Doing like, especially if you want to play like the kind of music that like you're saying that you're into. Like I mean, Alice in Chains is like, it's kind of difficult for a beginner. Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
It can be kind of intimidating. So I can definitely understand your point of view and being like, don't want to get into it. Like.
It's deceivingly difficult. Like if you want to be good.
If you want to be good, exactly. If you want to be shit, then it's really easy to be shit.
You can just ride on the E and like chill.
Exactly.
But Extinguish originally started like sound wise. We wanted to go for like a crossover thing. Like that's what Ged would play. He had this like Fender like combo amp, and we would like, me and Ian would like just go to his house in Vacaville. And he'd just show us these crazy ass riffs.
Yeah.
And we'd be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, why aren't we in a band? Let's run this.
Yeah. Wow.
But, so I didn't take any like music classes, I guess. Like I taught myself bass just by learning Ged's riffs, which were crossover riffs at the time.
And they're not like easy riffs. Like for beginner people, no.
No, definitely. Like it was kind of discouraging at first because I was like, "Yo, I'm never gonna learn this shit." Like he would play some crazy ass because I think Ged has been playing guitar since he was like a child. Okay. But there I was starting as a 18 or whatever year old.
Yeah, totally.
So it was a little daunting at first, for sure. But definitely, yeah, just learn bass, just playing his riffs. And like another, like I remember very specifically like a riff I was trying to teach myself is Friend or Foe by Agnostic Front.
Yeah.
And that's not like me trying to be like a try hard, like that. That riff was like sounded cool to me, and it sounded easy, and it definitely was not as like
totally.
a beginner.
Yep.
Because it uses every single string. I was just trying to rock on the E, but
yeah.
But yeah, no, the instruments, like bass
hit
specifically, hit very late. Yeah, it wasn't until Extinguish started that I actually like attempted, like I tried my hand at like an instrument.
Okay, gotcha. Well, that's really interesting. Okay, so I do want to rewind because like most of the time when I talk to people, they're like, yeah, like I started playing an instrument, and then I'm like learning all this stuff, and then I'm like starting to go to like, you know, like big arena concerts, and then I'm going to like local shows, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I want to start a band. But like you kind of like you did all that out of order, kind of. I feel like.
Yeah.
So like okay, so you're hearing all this stuff, I guess, like the Tony Hawk whatnot. Like when did you start going to like shows? Be it like, I don't know, maybe like an arena show, and then like, I don't know, when did you get into like the local scene after that, perhaps?
So that also came pretty late because, like I was saying earlier, I was always like a shy kid. I used to have like really bad social anxiety, and I think it was just a result of me like always being at home and not really having like a group or anything.
I get you.
But I think I went to my first show in this town called Dixon, which is a little north of Vacaville.
Yeah, I'm aware.
And it was at a church, and it was like a battle of the bands situation.
Okay.
And it wasn't specifically a hardcore show. It was like more like metalcore leaning, but I think everything was in those days because I think everyone was just trying to figure out like what they liked and stuff. Yeah. And it was just in those days.
This was like 2014, 2013.
I want to say like 2012.
2012.
Like
okay,
maybe even earlier actually. Okay. Like maybe like 2011.
Okay, well then that makes sense with like all the metalcore stuff.
Yeah.
I remember like in California specifically, whenever I talk to like people that are in your age range, they're like, yeah, I remember when I was getting into it, it was like, yeah, a bunch of metalcore bands were playing and stuff like that. That was kind of the space back in those days.
Yeah, just
from what it seems.
Because like I think I was definitely aware of hardcore music, but I wasn't aware of like the scene attached to it. Yeah, I didn't know there was like that show in Dixon was like my first exposure to like local music and like a local scene, which I didn't know was a thing before. Like a local music scene I didn't know was like a thing. Like I used to think you would just listen to a band and then just kind of chill after that. Like,
yeah,
I didn't know it was more
you didn't
like
know about Ground Zero.
Yeah, like I didn't know there was like more like participation. Like there was like a participation to it.
Yeah, totally.
But so yeah, I want to say like when I was like 13 or something, that was my first exposure to like local music and like a scene.
That's dope.
And specifically at that Dixon show, I think I met Ian, who sings in Extinguish for the first time.
Wow, that's dope.
We didn't become close until a little after that, but we hung around like
You're
the
still
same.
Young.
Yeah, we hung around like the same like circles, and then eventually it was just like, yo, like I like your stick together 5-panel G.
Yeah,
and
totally.
then Lena.
Yep.
But yeah, that was kind of like my exposure.
The start of it.
That was like the start of me like kind of going to shows and stuff and like discovering like a music scene. Yeah.
That's awesome. So obviously you're growing up in Vacaville and like kind of that area. Are you going to shows like, when did you start like going to shows like consistently? Like, was it just shortly after that one show, or were you like, did it take a little while after that to be like, oh, there's shows happening consistently at, say, like, I don't know, the local church or whatever, like you were saying, or this local coffee shop, or I don't know, whatever the local spot was. Like, when did you start finding out about like shows consistently and being like, all right, I want to keep coming back to these?
I want to say it was pretty shortly after that church show, because the circle that I was hanging with at the time, like that's all they wanted to do was like go to shows. I think that was honestly the happiest I'd ever been in my life, just because I was like a little ass kid, just like, and like I had no other worry in the world other than just going to like shows.
Yeah.
So I want to say a little shortly after that church show, it became consistent. So like maybe like mid 2013 into 2014. I would that's when I like consistently started going to shows. My first hardcore show was in Sac at this spot called the Colony. It's still around.
The legendary spot.
And it was Soul Search, Rude Awakening, Vitality, and other bands. It was like other locals. I'm like blanking on the full lineup right now. But I went specifically for Soul Search because I like
that. Bury the blame, man.
That website, Bury the Blame. That website, Tumblr, was like really big at the time. Like, like, so, and I think I like found like one of their flyers through that website.
Yeah.
So I like convinced my dad to drop me off because I had no car or like, so around that time, like, yeah, I had met Ian, but I still didn't have like a set group of like friends. Like, that didn't come till a little after. So I had to convince my dad to take me to like my first few hardcore shows.
That's dope.
And I would just go solo. Just because
totally.
like I didn't know anyone else that was like in that type of music and into like that environment, you know?
Yeah.
Because when I was pulling up to this show, it was like pouring rain out. And I like remember very specifically like someone like stumbling out the front door, just like bleeding, like,
oh yeah,
like hella leaking.
Oh yeah.
And like, I feel like for any normal human being, that's enough for someone to be like, oh, I'm just going to go home. Like, this is not that dope. But to me, I was like, yo, that's sick. Like,
oh, for sure.
And then, so that was my first hardcore show was Soul Search. And like, it was either it was Soul Search in late 2012, like very early 2013.
Oh, wow.
And then
that was like prime era.
Yeah. Like I saw so many crazy shows in like the Sacramento area.
So the Colony was like the spot still back in the day?
Yeah.
Or was there like more spots back then that you're like, that you want to like shout out that like aren't maybe around anymore, or like, because the Colony obviously still throws shows there and is dope and like, but I don't really ever really hear of too many other spots in Sac specifically at this moment that are like, you know, shows happen at regularly.
So I never got to go personally to any, but there was a spot called Branch Street, and all the touring packages at the time would like go through there.
Okay.
This guy, Alex Gudo, he sings in this band called Plead the Fifth. I think he booked the majority of these packages.
Mm-hmm.
I think like Title Fight played there, Basement.
Dang.
I remember, dude, I was so bummed about this. Power Trip and Alpha and Omega played there on like a weeknight, on a school night. And I like couldn't get anyone to take me or drop me off. You're
like 14 or 15 or whatever. Yeah.
I was like, yo, like, and this was like, I don't know if this was prime Power Trip, but like they were definitely like popping off.
On the come up at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Alpha and Omega were probably sick.
Yeah, this was No Rest No Peace era, I believe. So they were definitely like, I remember being so bummed about missing that. And I saw pictures of it like on Tumblr like the day after, and I was like.
And that was at this spot that was
the Branch Street.
Branch Street. Okay.
So that's a spot that used to do a bunch of shows. Like I said, I never personally got to go just because I was like too young and didn't know anyone. There's the Colony, and then this spot, as corny as it sounds, this spot was my X bar. There's a spot called the RBU in Davis.
Okay.
Which is like, Davis is like a college town a little south of Sacramento, and that's where I went to. That's where I went to like the bulk of my first few hardcore shows was there.
Okay. RBU?
RBU, yeah. It stands for Rock Band University. I believe it's still around. They just stopped doing shows just because, you know, just bullshit.
Yeah, you know, but, it's probably run by the college or something, or it's by the college, so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But, so the reason why I say it was my X bar is because there was shows literally
all the time,
every weekend, and it was always like popping.
Yeah.
I saw fucking King 9 there, God's Hate. I saw Disgrace there.
Damn.
Like Madball played there at one point too.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And this is just like are you familiar with this spot, the RBU?
No, I'm not.
So
not at all.
It's essentially like this warehouse space. that was converted into like a practice space because there was like a stage and PA, and the walls were painted purple for some reason. It was a purple ass venue for no goddamn reason. It was pretty big.
Okay,
at least in my memory, it was pretty big.
Well, I mean, if Madball's playing there, then I assume, and this was in the 2010s, so I mean, Madball was Madball at that point, so they're probably having to play pretty big rooms.
When that show happened, when that got announced, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
because I was like,
you're like, really?
Because in my mind, Madball's yo, these fools should be playing like a venue.
Yeah, totally. Not this, some DIY.
Yeah, not this little ass warehouse. But it was cool that they
pulled.
They are a hardcore band at the end of the day.
Yep.
But
they got the ethos.
RBU was a big one for me. Like that was very formative for me. Like on top of tour packages playing there, it would just be like local like bands playing there pretty often. And I went. So this was like probably 2013. Yeah, like this is when I was really going to shows like every weekend, like as much as I could. Like I had made like a little group of friends. Like I was kicking it with Ian way more. Like I think we would go to shows together and stuff.
So Ian's like your day one in the hardcore scene, would you say? Like to now? Yeah,
for sure. I've definitely known him in Extinguish. I have known him the longest.
Okay, gotcha.
For sure.
So I guess like, I mean, this isn't really fast forwarding because I guess all this is like happening like in a like consecutive years, but like so you're starting to go to hardcore shows and stuff like that, obviously, and then you kind of spoke to like starting Extinguish. So that was like a thing in 2016 that started.
Yeah, I want to say like late 2016 going into 2017. I believe.
Gotcha. So that starts, and I guess like how did you meet like Ged and I mean, you obviously knew Ian at this point, and what are the other homies' names? I'm forgetting what.
Extinguish is me on bass, Ian singing, Ged on guitar, Eric on drums, and Damien on guitar.
Okay, cool.
So I met Ged. We actually went to high school at the same exact time.
High school?
Yeah, like same high school, same grade.
Is he from your hometown?
Yeah, he's also originally from Vacaville.
Okay,
he lives in Sacramento
currently.
Sense.
Yeah.
But he's a Vacavillean for sure.
Okay, that makes
even
sense.
if he hates to admit it.
Okay, got it.
He's for sure a Vacavillean. But we went to the same high school, same grade, and we just never crossed paths. But I think it's just because he wasn't like outwardly like a hardcore kid. But gotcha. I met him shortly after high school. Like I think the year after we graduated, I met him through a mutual friend. But in like, dude, Ged's so cutty. He's so sick. Like he had been listening to like new wave music and like hardcore music. Like he liked cool shit as like a child.
Yeah, because I know like it's funny. I always like I've seen stuff of him and he's like Morrissey, like into like that type of shit and stuff like that.
Yeah, like he's like I think he definitely like kind of put me on to stuff, like for sure. But because he wasn't outwardly like a hardcore kid, and by that I mean I would never see him in like band shirts or anything like that.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like Ged couldn't believe like wearing Roshi runs, and like he was like he was like kind of like a hype beast. And that's no diss to him, but he just looked fresh. Like he has always looked fresh. So in my brain, I was like, okay, well, like I would see him around. I never once thought like, oh yeah, this guy listens to Crowbar, which our mutual friend told me while we were in high school. My buddy Austin, who knew him, who introduced me to Ged, he told me like, yeah, he likes like Crowbar and like Morrissey and stuff. And I was like, hell no! You see him in that 100 shirt, like, but that's because I'm just like this ignorant little kid. Like, I thought there was like
there's no correlation there.
Yeah, like I thought there was like a uniform to it, like you know. But Ged I met shortly after high school, and then we got close, started going to shows together, and I just thought Ged was like sick, like because I was already familiar with like hardcore bands and like older hardcore bands. Like I definitely got very nerdy with it very fast. Mm-hmm. But it was through Ged that I was like he would wear his like Morrissey shirts and shit.
That's funny.
And I'd be like, yo, what is that? And like, stuff like that. And like, and like new wave music. I used to call him like a closet goth just because of his like, but he just, he's just always been like
Just into
a
music.
cutty individual. Like,
yeah, I get you.
So me as a 12-year-old, I'm discovering Alice in Chains. That man was already listening to like New Order.
Yeah, totally.
And like was into it, you know?
Yeah.
But so yeah, Ged went on a tangent for no reason. Just Ged is so sick to me.
I mean, dude, if you want to come on and talk some tunes, talk some new wave tunes, I'd love to have you on. Ged.
For sure.
Like,
yeah.
That's an individual I want to interview at some point.
So Ged, shortly after high school.
And then the other two
Eric.
dudes.
Eric.
Are they both from Sac as well, or like that area?
Yeah. So Damien's definitely Sacramento, and then Eric, I think, has always lived in the city called Elk Grove.
Okay.
Which isn't Sacramento proper, but it's in the area.
Around.
Yeah, it's like
Gotcha.
I just call it all Sac.
Yeah, I get
because
you.
it's like I like anything north of Davis is Sacramento to me.
Yeah.
Which might make Damien mad or the actual like Sac heads mad, but that's just in my head. That's
the area.
Because I have like family that stays in West Sacramento, but other than that, I'm not that like I wasn't out there too much other than for shows.
Okay, gotcha.
But anyways, so Eric we met through going to shows also.
Okay.
Because Eric used to play and like. Eric, I feel like, has always been in a million bands at once. Like, I don't remember Eric ever being...
He's a drummer, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He has never been in just one band, I don't think.
Really?
I remember him always being in, like, 14 bands for no reason at all. Like,
I mean, still is in multiple bands.
Yeah, he's in the Test Stream now and Extinguish.
Angel actually played with the Test Stream. Like,
yeah,
in Oakland. So that was like... I was like, oh, that's the homie from Extinguish on drums.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. So we met, me, Ian, and Ged met him through just going to shows in Sac.
Mm-hmm.
And we like asked him to drum for us, and he was down. And we were like, "Yo, like we were like, we got the guy."
Yeah, totally.
I don't know what it is with hardcore and just a constant like shortage of drummers.
Yeah.
But the fact that we got that guy, we were like, "Yo, like
let's go,"
you know. But so we met Eric. Through going to shows, so I'm gonna call it like 2016 as well. Okay. Like when Extinguish started. So okay. I met him around that time, and then Damien I also met just through going to shows out there. Extinguish is all original.
That's
like
sick.
Lineup.
That's so sick.
Damien came a little bit later because
gotcha.
we kind of had a couple homies like cycle in and out of the second guitar position.
Yeah.
But then we finally settled on Damien, and he's been holding it down for a minute. Yeah. So I would just call him an OG as well. But yeah, that's kind of how I got to meet.
That's
all
dope.
all the guys was just going to shows out there.
So Extinguish is your first band?
Yeah, it's my first band
ever. That's so sick, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sick when I hear like people who like their first band is like the thing that like people fuck with. Like there's not many individuals out there who can like attest to that being like a thing, but that's dope, man. So obviously you're out in Sac and like that area and going to shows out there and stuff. So like how does this, because when I first came across Extinguish, I thought y'all were like a Bay band because I mean, you know, you guys are very like indoctrinated in the whole scene out here and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, those are like Bay people. I didn't know you guys were originally from Sac, but how did you guys like start becoming more integrated into the scene out here? And like, when did you start meeting people like from, I mean, say like SJ or the city or like places like that?
I don't remember specific. So I did go to shows in Sacramento a lot and like Davis. And I would go to shows in the Bay pretty sporadically, but that's because I was fully aware of shows that were happening out there.
You just couldn't get
I
to
just
them.
had no way to get to them. Yeah. Like, I would see Bad Times Crew playing all the time and like True Hearted and like...
Yeah.
I used to watch all like the live videos of like shows they would play out there. I just had no way of getting out there. So but like to answer your question, like I think I don't remember specific instances where I met everyone, but
yeah, I mean, that wasn't exactly like what I'm that wasn't exactly like, because I don't expect you to like remember all that.
Yeah.
But like if you like remember like, oh, like this is when I started coming out here like consistently.
Yeah.
And actually starting to meet people and stuff like that.
I think straight up like once I got my driver's license and then I started coming out like hella more just because like
it's like 16, 17.
Yeah, like going to Gilman and stuff was like the sickest thing. Like, but I definitely got close through everyone through Field of Flames.
Okay, got you.
Because Ged had met Justin at a tattoo shop, I believe the story is. They were both getting like flash from Idle Hand or something.
Okay, cool.
And I think just through doing Field of Flames, we just all kind of started getting closer to like all the Bay people.
Okay, gotcha.
And they definitely like took us under their wing, like, you know, like,
yeah.
Because I would see them at shows like when I would go to shows, like especially in like at the Gilman, or like I used to go to shows at the Oakland Metro a lot, like the old Oakland Metro.
Yeah.
But I would see like that group of people around all the time. Mm-hmm. But again, just like shy kid, like I kind of had my own little group.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it definitely took us a minute, like, but I think definitely through Field of Flames. It was when we all, like, not just me, like everyone, we started like clicking
together
like, with like all like the, you know, the SJ heads, like all of them.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, like around that time.
So this was like 2017.
Yeah, like 2017 and on, we all just kind of started getting closer. Like, my first practice with Field of Flames, like, I thought Joseph straight up like didn't like me. Just because he's like,
he's all quiet and shit.
Yeah, he's just quiet.
Yeah.
And I think he made some joke like, yo, yeah, I didn't actually. But no, yeah, he's sick. He definitely like 2017 onward, I would say we started like getting close with all the Bay people and started playing shows out here way more.
Okay, gotcha.
But that's why I just call Extinguish like a Northern I like, just for ease sake, I call it a Northern California band.
Yeah, totally.
Just because, you know, like, just because of where we're from geographically, like me, Ged, and Ian originally.
Yeah.
We're just like in the middle.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's just kind of like, not to like, that's like not to be on some fence walkery shit, but you know, we're Vacavillans.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
well, I mean, dude, also, like, even if you, like, claim California hardcore, like, it's still the sickest shit ever, man. You know what I mean? It's like saying, like, New York hardcore. Like, oh, yeah, we're from the state of New York, so we are, you know, therefore New York hardcore. Same deal with, like, you know, claiming California. It's still dope, man. Yeah, no,
it's, like, yeah, it's truly an honor to be a part of it. Like, truly. Like, super grateful that all like the Bay people like took Extinguish under their wing, essentially.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely like just when like Joseph started like put on for us from like since pretty early on. Like,
yeah.
I remember Justin Martinez, before I knew him well, he would put on for Extinguish, like Tough, like, you know, Mike Dirt put on for us pretty early on. Like, I believe, you know, I don't think Extinguish played with his old band Reaper's Row, but Reaper's Row played at that spot, the RBU. And I believe that was one of my first times like meeting Dirt. Okay,
gotcha. You guys did Field of Flames play with Reaper's Row in like, were they a thing at the same time? I don't remember.
Field of Flames came like
right after.
Right after. Like,
okay,
I think Justin decided to call it for Reapers.
Yeah, because I remember him telling me about that when I talked with him in the interview, that like Reaper's Row was like 2016.
Yeah,
and then Field of Flames starts in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you jump on that ship like around that time. Like, how did that interaction go? Where you were like, how did Justin reach out to you and be like, "Hey, you want to play in my band?" Was it?
Dude, what's funny is I didn't get like a formal like invite. So Ian was originally supposed to play bass.
Oh, okay.
It was Ian, Ged, and Justin's idea to start a straight edge band.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I don't know what happened exactly, but basically I remember Field of Flames having a show coming up at the Sabrosa in Santa Cruz, and that was going to be the first Field of Flames show.
Okay.
I forget what happened. I don't know if Ian like just didn't have a bass or something.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, I hit up Justin like, yo, like, cause I like loved the demo when it came out. Again, I didn't know him well. Like, I didn't know, like, when he put out that demo, I thought it was like the coolest shit at the time. Oh, yeah. Cause there was nothing else that really sounded like it. Just super strife, like strain influence.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And I reached out to Justin and I was like, yo, if Ian can't like play the show, I'll play it. Like,
yeah,
I know all the songs already. And yeah, that's just kind of how it worked out. I like kind of weaseled my way in there.
Yeah.
Low key. Yeah.
Low key, you stole
like,
Ian's spot.
I pretty much stole Ian's spot. Yeah. Just cause like I thought he wasn't going to be able to do it. So I learned the songs just in case.
Yeah.
And then the show kept creeping closer and closer. And then I think I hit him up I think I hit Justin up the day before, like, yo, I'll play this. I know the entire demo. Like,
that's sick.
But yeah, so I that's how I like joined Field of Flames, was just like offering to like fill in
for them.
And then it just and then I just became permanent after that.
Nice. So okay, so Extinguish and Field of Flames were kind of around the same time in terms of like you like joining up with both those projects. I mean, a year apart or so, like in difference is kind of what I'm hearing, like 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
So were those your only two bands for a while? Actually, you know what? I don't even know if I want to. I think I want to jump to Extinguish actually recording music, because your first shit didn't come out for a while. If I remember correctly, like you.
By first shit, do you mean like the EP?
Or your first like release, I guess. What was the first release?
So we did a demo with our buddy Mark.
Yes, I'm aware. Yep. My Cena's band just recorded with them.
Oh yeah. Mark is sick.
Yeah, I definitely know his work.
So we did our demo with him, and it was awesome because Mark just kind of lets you like do whatever.
Yeah.
Like within reason.
Yes, of course.
And so we did our demo with him, and I believe it came out in 2017.
Oh, okay.
And it's still up on Bandcamp, but you can definitely hear, like, it sounds nothing like what it does now.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so the first release was in 2017, which was a demo. And then we kind of sat on that for a minute. I actually exited the band for a time.
Oh, okay.
And then while I was gone, they recorded a promo, which is also still available on the Bandcamp.
But not on Spotify or anything like that?
We took it down. I don't remember I think me and Ian had a talk, and I think we were just like, yeah, this material isn't like
what it is now.
Like, yeah, it's not like an accurate representation of what the band currently is.
Understandable, for sure.
So, but it's still on Bandcamp. But so they did a promo in 2019, and that they recorded with Toshio.
Okay, cool.
That was like Toshio's first clash with Extinguish. I don't know if clash is the right word, but that was like our first collab.
Melding of the minds.
Yeah.
I get you.
But I wasn't in the band at the time, and then I rejoined, and then we finally did the self-titled.
Okay, cool. So for the first thing, was there, I mean, you might not even be the right person to talk to about this, but was, so you guys link up with Creator Destructor, like, was it like shortly after the promo, or was it like kind of in between the EP / like promo era, or was it?
So this was definitely like during the promo. Like, I think I might get the timeline fucked up, but we finished we finished the EP, and I don't remember if Ben, Creator Destructor, I don't know if he like heard it early through like a homie, but he actually reached out to us.
Okay, gotcha.
And was like, yo, like, I'll put this out straight up. And we were like, what the fuck? Like,
well, I mean, I know
that was
that's
so
insane
insane to us.
Yeah.
That was so insane to us because at that point we played like, we played like okay shows. Like, like I think it took Extinguish a while to like kind of
I think you guys still are.
Audience.
I think you guys are still underrated in terms of like the California hardcore scene.
Yeah,
like,
thank you, bro.
In terms of like the other bands that are coming out, like you guys are still underrated. In my opinion.
And and that's fine. It's not like we're in like a big fat ass rush to be like the biggest hardcore band
ever. Yeah, exactly.
But we what was I saying? So, fuck, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, it was Creator Destructor. Ben reached out to you.
so he reached out to us through like via Twitter, I believe, and was like, "Yo, I'll like put this out."
Yeah.
So I want to say he like heard the recordings early because we didn't put out like a single, I don't think, or anything like that.
Yeah.
Maybe we did. Like I said, I might be getting the timeline fucked up. But yeah, he reached out to us, and it was like at the time he had already put out like Gulch.
The Burning Desire.
Yeah, Burning Desire, and I think he had already put out the Tsunami demo.
Nice.
And so we were like, yo, this is like the easiest yes of all time.
Yeah,
because we had never been approached by a label or anything like that before at all. Like that was so mind-blowing to us.
Yeah, totally.
That he reached out to us because I was like getting ready to start doing like the email bit.
Oh yeah.
Of like,
hey,
yo, my band like, yo, we just dropped this. Like, let's work.
Let's do some tapes.
Let's work.
Yep, exactly.
But no, he reached out to us.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, no, definitely very grateful for Ben.
Yeah.
And
homie.
he is the reason that he's like the reason our music is on Wax, straight up.
Yeah.
You know, because he hit us up to put it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think
taking it from there.
I want to say definitely Joseph, I think, facilitated that link up.
Yeah.
Because Joseph like has always put on for us, like always to this day.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm
for sure.
so grateful for him. But I want to say he facilitated that.
Oh,
I want to say, yeah.
Nice.
But, yeah.
Dope. So, I guess Extinguish like takes a while to like get some traction. When was like the point where you guys were like, oh yeah, like people in, because I think in terms of Northern California, like you guys are fucking like, you guys pop off like when you play, like people mosh for you guys, like people like are stoked on it. When was like the moment when you guys were like, oh, okay, like people in Northern California are stoked on us and like this is sick, you know what I mean? Like was there like a turning point, like a show, or was there like a few shows where you're like,
I'm trying to think, but I think so Joseph offered us to open the Tsunami Brain Dead show that happened at 1720.
Yes, that was my first time seeing you guys.
And so I think after we played that show, like I don't remember our reaction being like super insane. But the fact that we were on that stage at all, I think felt like a turning point. Like maybe not with like the crowd wise yet, but we were like, or at least I was like, yo, like this might be like a real thing.
Yeah.
Because I never thought we would play like a
dope show like that.
For lack of a better term, like a real venue, like with lights and a fucking sound guy. Like that was all so alien to me. Like like a cab being mic'd up.
Yeah, totally.
I was like so like, yo, I don't know what this is. But I want to say that when we opened that show,
that was kind of
when for sure. It's kind of like when I started feeling like a shift in the band's like momentum.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's probably shows that happened before that or after that were like crazy. But I think when we opened that specific show, like the fact that we were going out of town to play a show for Tsunami, who was already like gigantic at that point.
Yeah, totally.
I think I felt like a shift.
I think also, at least from an outsider's perspective, when I noticed you guys also kind of getting more recognition was after the shows with Tsunami earlier this year, even like on that little like that stretch that you guys did with them.
Yeah.
I noticed like I always like to like look at the Spotify numbers and stuff like that, and I definitely noticed like you guys went from like a couple thousand and then it kind of like went up a few thousand like after that. So I think after like, just stuff like that, like I think people are starting to like actually recognize you guys. I mean, Sound and Fury was a great example of like, oh,
that was unbelievable.
You guys are
straight
fucking
up.
dope. You know what I mean?
Thank you, bro.
I wasn't there to witness it, but like, I mean, if you want to just like touch on that, like, what was it like opening a fest like that? Because that was Extinguish's like, that was your guys' like first big fest. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so, yeah, that's the first and only fest we played so far. Yeah.
Really?
Didn't
you guys play Wild West last year?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm tripping. Yeah. So we did Wild West as well, and that was sick. But like Sound and Fury was especially crazy because I like grew up going to Sound and Fury.
Yeah.
And like, just being on it at all was so crazy. And like we opened the second day, and I was selling merch most of the second day. Like I was selling merch before we started.
Yeah.
And I think we went on at like 1:30. I started walking towards the yellow stage at like 1:25 or something, like hella last minute, just to kind of like, I was definitely putting it off because I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
Dude, I was walking up to the stage and there was like fools already packed in. I was like, what the hell? Like, I don't know what I expected, just because I like never, like, not to sound like a dickhead, but I never expect much.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
no one does.
Like, I don't, like, I don't ever want to assume that we'll pull like a big ass crowd or anything.
Yeah.
But when I was walking up to that stage, bro, like just seeing all the people already packed in, like, whether they were there for Extinguish or not, like, I was like,
People are here.
I was like, yo, there's people here. Like, we're playing to a crowd.
Yeah.
And a sizable one at that.
Yep.
So that was sick. Like, the whole process was pretty easy. Like, it was all, like, the set was awesome. Like, our homies were there moshing. Like, it was a good time. Like,
nice.
Like, it was a super memorable set for sure. I don't think I'll ever forget that.
Totally.
And this is after the barrier debacle.
Yeah.
You
played second guitar for Big Boy that day.
I did. Yeah.
So that was another thing I wanted to ask you. Are you playing second guitar for Big Boy now? Is that just like a thing? Because the last few times I've seen you, you've been on second guitar.
Yeah. So I would say I'm like an unofficial fifth member. I like to help out like when Joseph can't like do a show because he'll be busy with like Tsunami or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
So I'll just like fill in on bass when I can. And guitar. Like, and if he can play the show and I'm like free, I'll like slide over to second guitar. But creatively, like, that's definitely all them. Like, I don't want to take credit for, like, that's definitely all, like, I just play the, I just play the shows, but that's definitely all, like, creatively, like, that's all Brandon, Keone, Adrian, Joseph, that's all them.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, like, so I would say like an unofficial like fifth member.
That's dope. Well, that's why it was cool. That's why I wanted to ask about like the Extinguish Sound and Fury thing, because I mean, Extinguish is you and these other dudes in this band, you know what I mean? Like, this is something that you guys created, and, like, have actually built, and like this wasn't something you jumped on as like, as a fill-in or like later in the project and stuff. Like, you actually like helped facilitate this from the beginning, which I think is super cool. That Extinguish is now at a point where you guys can play big fests and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I do want to say though, it definitely wasn't like all just me. Like, it was it was collectively
you guys though. Like, I think it's cool that like you and all of the people in Extinguish, you guys have been there for like pretty much from the very beginning.
No, for sure.
And like you guys have all seen it from the start.
Yeah.
Like this upward trajectory, which is super cool to me, that like you guys are all, pretty much all day ones in that band and are continuing to still do dope shit.
Thank you. Yeah, I love all the bands I'm in and all the people in them. Like, love everyone in Field, love everyone in No Right.
Yeah.
But Extinguish, I definitely feel is like my baby in a way, just because like, just there from the beginning. Like,
yeah,
I was there for all like the shot shows, and I'm around for all the cool ones, like,
yeah.
And it's always cool to me. Like, it's never like something I take for granted. Like, when I see people going off,
yeah, totally,
to like our set or our music in a live setting,
totally.
And that Sound and Fury set was definitely like a nice reminder, like, yo, like all the like hard work and like time we had to take off work and just like all the drives
all the empty pockets of money.
Yeah, all the drives me, Ian, and Ged had to make to SAC for a while to practice. Like, it led up to something.
Yeah.
Like, and it's definitely very like, it's definitely cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I went off on a tangent, but I think the question was about Sound and Fury specifically.
Yeah,
it was definitely very memorable. Yeah, it was awesome. Like, all our friends were like, it's like the best feeling in the world to see your friends mosh to your music.
Oh, of course.
Straight up.
Yeah.
I don't care how corny that sounds. Like, kind of off topic, but the show we played in Santa Cruz recently,
dude, that one was fucking awesome too.
That Extinguish set is straight up my favorite set, period. Like, at first I was like, yo, this is like top 3, but I don't know what, like, we've done some cool shows, but that one specifically, like the vibe was like,
sick.
like all our friends were moshing, like stupid. I had Joseph play bass on Unconquer just cause.
Yep.
Like he learned it in like 15 minutes. Like
Yep.
Like in the little side room.
Yep.
And it's just like the best feeling in the world, just seeing like.
Because they'll go the hardest.
Yeah, like it's cool when randoms like mosh for your band and like, cause it's like, oh damn, like I don't know this guy and he's like. He just spin kicks some fool, and now that guy's in the hospital. Like, damn, that's crazy. Like, but just when all your friends collectively like go off like that, like it's a really cool feeling. Like, like for sure.
Nice.
But
all right, well, we're kind of winding down to the last couple things that I wanted to cover. So I think I'll do this before the last question, but like how'd you come up on like straight edge and stuff like that? Because this is like a specific story that I think is like unique to most, like to anyone who claims straight edge. It's like a unique experience for them, like how they came up on it, how they found it, and then how eventually you were like, oh, you know what, this is for me, you know what I mean? And why you continue to still be as such, because I feel like your 20s are you're very volatile to like, you know,
for sure,
going off and doing something else, you know, and trying new things. So like I wonder why. I guess my question is like, how did you find it and why do you continue to still claim it? So
I think my first exposure to straight edge was when I was like 15 or so, and it was just through seeing the people that would go to shows, and I would see people wearing like their little X5 panels. And I was like, yo, what is that? Like, and I just thought it was like cool. Like straight edge definitely had like a uniform during this time. Like I just remember fools having like the fresh ass hair, like the side part. Yeah. The little fucking Youth of Today shirt and little cargo shorts and shit. And like it just appealed to me like at first just because it looked cool. Yeah. But then digging deeper into it, like I just thought it was cool that this is a group of people that just aren't partaking in anything, which I didn't like doing anyways. Yeah. Like, I don't know, like I've witnessed alcoholism in my family, and it's just not, it's like super not chill. It's really hard to watch someone you love just essentially kill themselves. Yeah, exactly. Like in the slowest manner possible. Yeah. Or fuck up in some crazy way. Yeah. And like, you know, and like, so I just wanted nothing to do with that really. Like I wasn't always like straight, like in middle school, just in classic, like middle school kid fashion. I like would smoke weed. Like fucking around and stuff. Yeah. But just like, I wasn't like, but that's not cause I thought it's just cause everyone was doing it. Yeah, of course. So, you know, I was like 13 years old smoking some goddamn Bammer. Yeah. And I was like, yo, this isn't that sick. Like, yeah. I don't know. I just was never drawn to like, I was never drawn to like substances for fun. Yeah, totally. Like I just never really related to that. And just wanted nothing to do with alcohol just cause I didn't want to end up like that, you know? Like, yeah, exactly. It's just not cool. Why I continue to be straight edge, I would say because it's just such a part of me now. Like I don't even think about it truly. Like yeah, I feel like you hit a point and that's just how it is. It's just my lifestyle now. Like it's not. I'm never like. I don't think I've ever once been like, yo. To be honest, like a bong rip sounds crazy right now. Like I'll joke like that. Yeah, totally. But it's never like serious. I'm never actually like, yo, like in all seriousness. Yo, I'm trying to go off on some kush. Yeah, like, you know, like it's never. It's just such a part of me now that I don't even think about it really. Like, you know, like I don't go to like bars or clubs. Yeah, just because that's like an awkward like setting for like if you're not there to like drink, it's like what are you there for? Yeah. So I definitely don't go to those too often, if at all, just because it's like, what am I gonna, you know? I guess I could order a soda or a water. Yeah. On the rocks. Yeah, totally. Like, but it's not, you know. It's not the same. And yeah, I don't know why I continue to be. I still believe in it. Like I definitely like, I just like being present. Yeah, totally. And not, you know, like I already, I already have shit I deal with. Everyone does. And I couldn't imagine trying to like, I guess trying to hide it via substance.
Yeah.
Or
Totally.
try to numb it via substance. Like being straight edge, it kind of forces you to like, you know, take that shit head on.
Yeah, totally.
And, you know, and final thing, I would just feel like a cornball drinking alcohol for the first time at 25 years old. Like, all that aside, like, I couldn't take myself seriously if I just randomly decided
You know what?
in my mid-20s, like, you know what? Fuck. I'll have a Mickey's. Like, it doesn't even sound...
40?
Yeah, like, I guess I'll just have a 40. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it just feels cheesy.
Yeah, I get you.
To randomly decide, like, yeah, I guess I'll just do it. Today's the day I'm going to go off on a little Flume vape.
Yep,
You know?
exactly.
That's another bit I like to do is just pretending that I lost my vape.
Yeah,
But no, but all that aside, like, it's very easy to me to remain straight edge for sure, just because it's super, like, part of me.
yeah, totally.
And, you know.
And you can be in some dope ass fucking bands if you are straight edge.
Yeah, you know, and, like, Xing up's pretty dope.
It is pretty dope.
I don't do it super often because it's annoying washing the Sharpie off my hands. Xing up's pretty goddamn dope.
Yeah, it is dope.
It's worth price of admission alone. I'll tell you that much.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's some wise words there from Mr. Jose. So I think the last thing that I want to say or cover is I don't know if like you want to get too into it, but like there's gonna be an Extinguish LP.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
So like, I guess what I wanted to ask was like, how does this new set of Extinguish songs compare to like the stuff you've put out like before? Because you guys don't have like a huge discography.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can go through it in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And like
straight up. Yeah.
So like how does this new run of Extinguish songs compare to like the old ones, and like what did you guys maybe do differently in terms of like writing and whatnot, or are you doing like more of the same stuff? Because more of the same stuff is fucking awesome, but I don't know if there's like some different stuff that you were trying out too.
I don't think we veered too far off course. It's definitely like I would say it's like a continuation of the EP in like a good way.
Yeah.
Like it, you know, we didn't change anything too drastically. Ged definitely had more death metal influence this time around.
Okay, sick.
Because we've been playing this new song live, which we also played at that show in Santa Cruz.
Yes.
And I think that's definitely our most like death metal-y song.
It's fucking hard.
I think Ged said he was listening to hella like Morbid Angel and like Deicide or something like that when he wrote this specific song. But I think it's like same old, just hard. Like we try not to like
change it up too much.
Yeah, but not because we're afraid of change or anything. We just want to build off of what we know we can do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like because I don't think
you're not hitting no melodic parts.
Oh, I want to though.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of sick.
But I definitely get my melodic fix with like Field of Flames.
Field of Flames for sure.
And I get my ugly chord fix with No Right.
Yeah, totally.
But we just kind of, you know, like I said, we just kind of stayed the course. Like it's still hard. It's heavy. Like I don't think we sound too much like our parts aren't like super beat down or anything. It's just, I don't know, we just call it dark hardcore music. Like we like our main influences, like specifically what I tell people is like we want to sound like Confusion, like old 90s New York hardcore band, very obscure. They recently did a reissue with Days, which I was super happy. Like that's like the perfect guy for them to do a reissue through.
Yep.
I don't know. We want to sound like Confusion, like Condemned to Suffer era, like All Out War.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Because that music is like tough, dude.
Dude.
It's tough ass music, and it's not super straightforward tough, but it's just like It's like mysterious guy tough.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. It's music.
It's dark.
It's dark music. Like I feel like I should be wearing like a wizard cloak sometimes on stage, like playing some of those riffs, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And Obituary is like a big influence. It's like that song, Seed of Evil. I was listening to Obituary nonstop when I wrote that. I'm pretty sure it's just a stolen obituary riff, like played backwards or something.
Nice. I mean, that's what most hardcore is anyway.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Play it backwards, slow it down.
Just play it backwards, slow it down, add a little China.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, the LP, I want to say it's like a part 2 of the EP in like a good way. Like
nice.
It's 8 tracks, and it's we're hoping so the LP's tracked fully, like instruments wise. We just need to wrap up on the vocals.
Okay, dope.
We just need to wrap up on the vocals, get it mixed, mastered, and then
nice.
And then hopefully have it out to the people pretty soon.
Nice.
We got the art squared away. I can show you after this.
Yeah. Who did the art?
So her name is Selena. Her Instagram handle is Restless Draugr.
Okay, sweet. And the Santa Cruz homie.
Yeah, she's based out of Aptos. Yeah.
Yep.
And we like saw her do stuff for Doomsday, and we were like, "Yo, she's sick."
Yeah.
And we tapped in on her, and she
killed it.
She fucking killed it straight up.
Nice.
Like it's some scary ass art. The emblem, the little skull guy that's on the promo, she integrated that into the art.
Oh, that's dope.
And
did Ian do the art for that? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he took it. I don't want to blow up his sources, but he took it out of a book.
Okay, gotcha.
And he worked his magic.
Nice.
To make it exactly what it is.
Nice.
And I think he requested it specifically, like when he commissioned the art. I think he very specifically was like, "Yo, if you could try to like integrate this in there somewhere, that'd be pretty hard."
Pretty dope. Yeah.
But we're hoping for that to be up pretty soon here.
Nice.
We just got to wrap up on vocals and then
put it out.
And then kind of off topic, but No Right is also like pretty close to finishing an LP as well.
Yeah, that was going to be on Triple B. Yeah.
I believe so.
Well, I'm just going off of what Sierra said at the last No Right show I was at, which was in San Francisco, in March or something.
I think she was talking to Sam. Yeah, I believe so. I'm not too sure on like specifics, but I believe so.
Well, keep a lookout for both those things. Well, I mean, those are all the questions that I had. I don't know if you want to give any like shout outs to people or shout out anything that's coming up in the future that maybe you want people to check out.
Yeah. This might be a little long-winded, but I need to get this off my chest and shit.
Yeah, go for it.
But I just want to thank like all my friends, like all the SJ heads that like took like Extinguish and all of us under their wing, like put on for us since day one. Like I love playing in San Jose and just anywhere with any of those dudes. Like I love playing with Condition 1, like Big Boy, like any show where all those guys are at is always like a fun show.
Yeah.
Always like super appreciative. Like shout out to Joseph for always putting on for us since day one. Shout out to like Brandon and all the Big Boy guys for giving me a chance to play guitar for the first time on stage. You know, like shout out to Danny and RNRG. Like, dude works super hard to like bring hardcore shows to the Bay.
Yep.
You know, like shout out to Toshio for recording us. Extinguish specifically. Field of Flames has also, but shout out to Toshio for
No Right. I'm sure.
And No Right. Yeah. Like shout out to Toshio for recording us. You know, like fuck, I might be missing people. Shout out to Sierra just because. But I hope I'm not missing anyone. But yeah, and just shout out to anyone that's like ever watched my like any of my bands and like bought like a shirt or like a physical copy. Like straight up, I never take that shit for granted. Like it's always so cool to me. It's like it's so cool that I get to like play these shows with the people that I am playing them with.
Yep.
But yeah, just shout out to everyone that's choosing to be an active participant in hardcore music.
Yep.
Straight up,
man. Well, catch Extinguish on the East Coast in a couple weeks with Big Boy.
Sir.
Doing a full little East Coast run, yeah?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Still got to book the van.
All right. Well, if they can get a van, you'll see them out there. Well, I think that was it. So thanks again for coming on the show. And
thank you again for having me and for driving up.
Yeah, no
Straight
problem
up.
at all. That's
Hell
what
yeah.
I love doing.
Hell yeah.
Well, check out Extinguish. Check out No Right. Check out Feel the Flames. All the dopest bands. Check out Big Boy. And then till next time. Peace.
Oh yeah.